ladies and gentlemen. We hate to be in these certain situations. We do have some breaking news here at the Tapped Out Studios. Lots of rumors, lots of stuff circulating out there over the last week. Instead of just kind of reporting on those things, I tracked down the man himself and said, "Look, let's just get the answers from the man himself." Bryce Cannon of Exotic Youth. Bryce, first of all, man, thanks for coming on. Appreciate that. I know we've got a lot of stuff going on and everybody pulling you in a million directions. But I'm glad we wanted to have you on yourself just to kind of squash the rumors, squash all that talk that's out there, kind of tell everybody, what's going on right now.
Yeah, so I want to start off by saying thanks to, you guys at Tapped Out Studios for allowing me the platform and the opportunity to kind of speak on this. So just to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off, the rumors, uh, everything being said is true. I am unfortunately injured. I'll get into it a little more in depth, but first I want to kind of give a little backstory on, on this injury. This isn't something that just happened in a match. It wasn't anybody's fault. It wasn't maliciously done. It wasn't anything that I'm blaming anybody for. I want to get that out of the way first and foremost. Um, about 4 years ago, I worked at GIPW in Macon, Georgia. This is when they were still at the Thirsty Turtle, and I had stepped back, and there was just a rivet, a groove in the ring between the mats, and my foot just plopped in there, and my knee popped. We knew something wasn't right. My niece started swelling and everything, and I had actually went and got it checked out at an orthopedic place in Atlanta. And they told me, no surgery. It was just like pretty much a dislocated patella. I said, okay, cool. Did some PT for it. Everything was good. Fast forward about a year or two, it popped again. This time I was like, okay, I already know what it is. I already know I can handle it. I already know what to do to take care of it. Put some ice on it, did a little bit of PT, went about wrestling, didn't think twice. Fast forward, I believe right before the award show, uh, this past year, I was in a like a street fight with Stucky and his partner and Peps at PCW, and I slipped on a puddle of water and my knee pops again. That one was a little different from the other two because it was a bigger jolt. And I was like, okay, that one kind of hurt a little more than the previous ones. Didn't think anything of it. Swelling went down. I was fine. Then fast forward to March 30th, Coastal Empire Wrestling facing Randy Reno in the main event. Towards the end of the match, I go to throw a clothesline and I just feel my knee go pow. And I couldn't really stand. We finished the match, but I was like, okay, that one was a little different. It didn't hurt as bad as the previous ones, but I realized like, something's not right. Um, 2 weeks later, swelling hasn't gone down. My knee is about the size of a basketball. Not really, it's about a softball. I'll say that, over exaggerating the swelling, but I just noticed it wasn't getting any better with, the things that normally I would do that would cause the swelling to go down. Luckily, my fiance's friend is a physical therapist, so she got me in with one of the highly recommended ortho surgeons here, and he did X-rays at first, and in the X-rays, the knee looked great, but he could see a little bit of disturbance behind the kneecap on one of the shots. So he ordered a stat MRI. I got the MRI results back today, actually, and it does appear worse than what we were thinking. At this point, I will have to have surgery, and I will potentially be out the remainder of 2024. Um, pretty much I've got a blown out knee at this point. My kneecap is currently dislocated. My tibia is out of place due to the dislocation. So he described one of the procedures that I have to have. Well, it's all one surgery, but one of the issues they're going to address is this out of place tibia, which is your shin. They're going to have to go in, cut the bone, replace it, and then have it anchored and screwed back into place. They're going to have to pretty much one of the tendons or one of the ligaments that hold the kneecap in place, like that's its sole job, is shot. So they have to take that out, go into my hamstring to create a new, ligament pretty much. And then, like, when my kneecap dislocated this past time, um, a piece of cartilage actually broke off. So I have that also, like, kind of floating around that they're going to have to fish out. So a lot going on, a lot of time away from the ring. It's not something that I wanted to happen. It's not something that I wanted to hear, but unfortunately, it's the spot that I'm in. I could, moan and grope and, complain about the situation, but at this time and place, I just got to face it head on. I've had a lot of support already with guys who didn't even know what's been going on, and I haven't really told anybody, the exact details of behind what's going on. So I just kind of wanted to go ahead and do this now. I've already let, promoters know. I've already let friends and family know, first and foremost. So this is just kind of the bed that's made and the one that I have to lie in for about the rest of the year. They did give me a time frame, but I don't want to disclose that because that'll just make my return a little bit more of a surprise.
That was going to be my follow up question, was if you had a timetable. So I could totally respect that. And plus, look, lots of times, look, if we know anything about a lot of talents that are out there in the past, you guys are sometimes freak athletes, right? Like it'll be like,
Mhm.
oh, it's supposed to be X, and then because of the dedication and the work you'll put in, and look, at we can appreciate all the hard work you've done up till now,
Mhm.
and I think we can see that maybe you can shorten that a little bit, but at the same time, I think we all ask, because we want you back. Trust me, the fans and and us and all, we all want you back sooner than later. But we also, when you do come back, 100%, don't push it, because the worst, that's the last thing we want you to do as well. So
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing too is he gave me the worst case scenario timetable and then told me, but you're in shape, you're young, you're in good health, like it could be a shorter amount of time. I think like the real bummer of the situation was we thought it was just like a torn meniscus, which would have been 2 to 4 months out, which would have been great, but that's not the case. So yeah, it does look like it will be you know, longer than this year. So
I mean, and that's I think, like I said, from a fan, and I know it does for you. Trust me, I'm sure. It's but it's also heartbreaking to your fans, whether they love you or they don't. They're gonna miss you on the shows, and that's a it's a huge blow. And look, and to be honest with you, it's a blow to Georgia wrestling in general. I mean, the Southeast for that matter.
I mean,
Um,
hell, I was number one. I'm going out on top, according to Georgia wrestling history.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I think that's kind of it, because even we've all seen the work of, I had to sidebar here. Had to, I talked to your partner, Zach, yesterday,
Mhm.
today, and we're talking about how far all three of you guys have come, not only as a package but individually, to watch all of you kind of
Right.
grow into your own roles. But uh, you know, I guess in the near future here, it's going to be just like you said. I'm following up here, just saying it's probably do you have a timetable on when the surgery is going to happen? I guess that we didn't.
Yeah, so that was one of the conversations that we did have, and he was asking me, do you want to rush it? How do you want to handle it? And of course, they give you the option not to have the surgery, which I told him, you go ahead and throw that logic out the window. Like, I want to get this fixed. I want to make sure, I can get back in the ring. That was my main concern to him was I just want to be able to wrestle once this is all said and done, once the rehab's done. I just want to be able to wrestle. And he said, he can't guarantee 100% just because, there may be some little hurdles or stuff, but he said like the odds are 90%. So they're super high for that. But as far as the surgery goes, I told him like, I want it ASAP. So he said roughly he'll try to get it scheduled in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So stay tuned on that, I guess. I haven't got a call yet from it, so we're kind of waiting still to schedule it.
And I know some people are going to follow it. This is a follow up question I had for you. Look, I know with the surgery, there's probably going to be a time which you can't, but can we look forward to at least Bryce Cannon being in person at shows with Exotic Youth still in this little window? Is that because I mean, look, people are still going to want to see you.
Right. And I haven't even had the surgery. I haven't even been out of the ring that long, and it feels like it's already been forever, honestly. Part of me wants to do the I'm injured, stay away, make my return something like, oh, he's actually back. And then part of me's like, God, I got to get out there. Like I just got to be a part of it somehow. Like this is my, even though it's a weekend thing, this is my life. Like this is what I eat, sleep, and breathe. So I'm very torn on it. So I don't have a direct answer on that. I'm leaning m- more one way than the other, but both of them sound good to me. But I know one would kill me more than the other.
Yeah, I mean, like I always look. It's odd to see you guys not together, even when you're just booked. When you're booked to different
Right.
places, which happens. With all the success you guys have had individually, it's not uncommon now to see you in South Carolina or North, and
Hmm.
then Zach in somewhere. So that's kind of yeah. I was just it would be a shame not to see you at all, but like I would totally respect and understand that stance of
Hmm.
saying I'm just gonna go focus over here and just take care of that. Because look, at the end of the day, I guess look when we let's be honest, that's the most important thing right now. Let's get the
Right.
let's get it healed up, get it taken care of. Um, but is there any other details that the doctors are saying? Like you brought up surgeries, not not having surgery, so they gave you that as an option. But I guess was the risk just that high when not having a surgery at all? Like it's just going to
Yeah.
constantly be
I
a
mean,
thing.
it was just, yeah, it was one of those things where right now there's no way I could wrestle if I didn't have the surgery. Like my
Gotcha.
knee, like I said, is literally the size of a softball. I was explaining to you, I was at the gym with my gym partner yesterday, just having a normal conversation, and I was standing upright and my knee just buckles due to that piece of cartilage that, broke off. Um, and it's one of those things, yeah, I wouldn't be able to wrestle. So it's like surgery is my only option, even though they gave me another option.
Gotcha. Well, look, we hope everything heads to that road. We want you back sooner than later. Take your time, do everything the right way, do everything doctors, the physical therapy. I'm sure is going to come right behind that, and you'll have all the help in the world, I guess, in that department. So just kind of keep plugging along. Is there anything particular? I know, look, I know at your typical show when you go out there, Exotic Youth, you're not always loved necessarily in the sense of from the in the storytelling aspect of pro wrestling by the fans. But a lot of people respect everything you've done. I mean, it's just a. So anything do you want to say to the fans? I guess to let them know going while you're out something something to say to them.
Yeah, I mean, don't treat it like I'm dead or anything. Like I'm still alive. That's the biggest thing. Yeah, even as bad as the situation is, yeah, the injury is worse than what I anticipated it is. It could always be worse. Um, and that's just kind of how I look at it. Everyone that I have talked to so far, I mean, they're like, dude, you're super like taking like this information and this bad thing well. I'm like, it is what it is, you know. I mean, like I said, this is the bed that's been made, so let's lay in it. But it's not death, you know. So
I
I'm
mean,
gonna be okay. I'll be back in the ring at some point. Support Zach, support Peps, support indie wrestling as a whole. Don't. I mean, I'm not that big of a deal to quit watching independent wrestling or anything like that. But
well, look, I mean, we've seen guys like I mean, just think about it, even in the last couple of years. One, you are still super young. I mean, you got
mhm.
plenty of time as far as that goes. You want to heal up right so you can take advantage of those back end years as well. But we've seen guys, look, and I know there's differences in far as guys in WWE, etc. But guys get injured and they're gone 9, 12, 18 months sometimes, and they still come back, and it's, and like I said, I think, and we said it on, our indie show this week. We knowing your work ethic and knowing your drive and knowing your focus, in how much your passion, you love indie wrestling, you love wrestling, period.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna come back faster, stronger. Just you're gonna be able to work on things that you just don't have the time necessarily to work on.
Right.
Because you're always working and you're always moving. So obviously, we're going to see a bigger, faster, stronger, better Bryce Cannon when that return finally happens.
Right. And I mean, that's the ultimate goal. I'm already looking forward to that. I might come back with no tip. I might come back, different Bryce Cannon. You just don't know. And these thoughts have started running through my head of, okay, is this a time where I change? Is this a time to rethink things that, okay, yeah, this is work, but this is a new era, of Bryce Cannon. I have already had those thoughts. So it's going to be one of those things that I definitely want people to not forget about me, but definitely don't dwell on me.
Well, we will look, and everybody, I would say that out there, we will keep you in our thoughts and prayers, man. We all the best wishes for you. Hopefully, everything's a speedy recovery. Doctors do well, you do your job, and then down the road we get the return of Bryce Cannon, and hey, all will be right on in wrestling again, right?
Right. Right. Exactly. Just know I will go ahead and say I got a little chip on my shoulder going out as number one. So when I return, I've got to go for that number one spot, whoever's in it. So,
Well, man, I appreciate the time. I appreciate you setting the record straight, just kind of getting it out there. And look, it's a tough situation, but I can I can commend your approach and everything that how you're handling it. There's just being positive. That's all, to me. I always tell people that's usually the first step. Be
right.
positive, and it's just kind of plow right through it and put in the work. And hopefully, we will see you back soon.
Absolutely. Yeah. I hope those doctors do well too, just as long as they don't touch the tip.
Well, take it easy, Bryce, and we'll see you down the road, buddy.
All right. Thanks.